People often ask, what's the secret to the survival of the Jewish people? For thousands of years already, facing so many challenges against all odds, one of the secrets, I believe, is the strength of community. And we see amazing agricultural laws that help strengthen community in ancient Israel. Let's explore them. Shalom, my friends. This is the Kibbutz Gersh with Israel in 5, where we give you everything Israel in 5 minutes. Please like and subscribe. And if you have any questions or want to keep the conversation going, please do so below in the comments. Now, on some level, in all ancient communities, all throughout the world, in different cultures and regions, community was essential for the survival of people. To have people there when you need them, to have people to help, to have people to build homes and farms and take care of all different kinds of issues and potential problems. Community is so important for the general human experience. But in the Jewish tradition, community takes on a different kind of form and I think has a different level of importance. And we see that in the Jewish tradition with laws, commandments, literally commandments from the Torah, from the Hebrew Bible, that commanded the Jews in ancient Israel living in the land of Israel to form very, very tight and close and supportive community. Now, back then, like around the world at large, almost everybody was a farmer. Everyone had some plot of land that they were farming, gardening, growing food, exchanging food, swapping food, sharing food. Farming was a huge part of people's lives back then. And as a result, and not surprising, there are many different laws in Judaism relating to agriculture, to farming. And some of them are specifically about taking care of others. And when we talk about taking care of others, that's an essential element, an essential aspect of forming strong and supportive community. Let me share with you a few of these different laws from ancient Israel that are still there in the Torah today. They're not practiced quite in the same way, if at all, but it's interesting to see that they were practiced in ancient times, and again, to see how they helped to form such strong communities. And really laying the foundation, the basis for the Jewish people to really be able to have those strong ties between them, giving them the ability to really get through anything. One of these laws is that if you're out there in the field and you're harvesting and you are picking, fruits off of a tree, let's say, and you forget to harvest some of the trees or some fruits from a certain tree, and you've already passed it, you don't go back to pick it. You leave it there for who? For the poor, for the people who need it, for the widow, for the orphan, for those who don't have means on their own to support themselves. You forgot? Okay, it was meant to be, and you let it be, and you let those in greater need than yourself come back afterwards and pick it for themselves. Another law, somewhat similar but also different, is you're harvesting in the field and you drop a few of the items of produce that you harvested. You don't pick them up. That's right. You leave them on the floor of the field for those very same needy people to come afterwards to pick it up themselves. Okay. Another law. This one's called peah, which means corner. You're harvesting your field. You don't harvest the corners of your field. You leave the corners of your field unharvested. So yes, those same people, the poor, the destitute, the needy, the orphan, the widow, excuse me, can come back afterwards. I mean, when you're all done and pick for themselves. Okay, so there's all these different kinds of laws, whether you forgot or whether you dropped or just leaving the corners of your field unharvested, that will leave a pretty good amount of produce left in the field even after you're done harvesting as the farmer. Okay, and it's a really beautiful and I think important aspect that the people who need this produce, they come themselves to gather to harvest it. You're not gathering it for them and then distributing it to them. No, they're taking an active part in this. They're doing something. They're taking an action, which makes them feel like, okay, it's not totally a handout. It's what's left in the field after the harvest, and I have the permission to come and take it for them for myself. Right? They're going out there. They're going into the field. They're doing a certain level of work for themselves in order to gain this produce. If it was a handout, they would feel, not so nice about themselves. They'd feel like a little bit less, like, oh, look at me, I need like someone to give me food. right? This way they keep their self-respect intact and they get the food that they need. So all these different kinds of laws come together or came together in ancient Israel to really form strong community, right? And again, that community is necessary in order for just basic survival, but also on top of that to really create the kind of community that the Jewish tradition wants Jewish people to form, right? Taking care of each other, thinking of each other, knowing that one another, has each other's back, right? That each one is there for the next and that you can really rely, you don't have to just rely on yourselves. You don't have to just rely on your families even, right? You have an entire community, right? This whole idea of like, oh, it takes an entire village to raise a child or, to really, to not only survive, but to thrive. This is really what was intact in ancient Israel through these different agricultural laws. I think about it. Someone's harvesting, they forget something. Of course, your first thought is, "Oh, I forgot that. I'm going to go back and get it. Oh, I dropped it. Whoops, mistake. I made a mistake. I'm human. Of course, that's still mine." No, no, no. The Jewish citizen says, "No, it was meant to be. You were meant to forget it. You were meant to drop it, right? On some level, it wasn't even yours in the first place, right? Because it was meant to be in the hands of those more needy than yourselves." All right, so it's again an interesting look in some or at some agricultural laws from ancient Israel going back thousands of years. And while we still learn about them today, they're not in practice the same way that they used to back then, but still the lessons are there, right? The importance of community, the strength of community, and the ability of community to not only help us to survive, but also to thrive. All the best, my friends, and be well.